What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and I'm here with my brother, Justin McCack.
Hey, everybody.
This is Room 51, where we talk all things board gaming. And today we have a Speak Up Game of the Month for January coming at you in February. Um, but, it's early enough in the month. We could do
Yeah,
that. We do what we want because it's Room
it works.
51.
Yeah, it's fine. It works. It works.
So this is, if you're not familiar, this is a series where we talk about a particular game. Justin and I, we pick some sort of game that we feel like doesn't get spoken about enough. It doesn't get enough love. Maybe it came out with a splash and now it's underrated, whatever it
Yeah.
might be, right? So that's what it is. We feel like these games need to be spoken about today.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
without further ado, Justin, what is your Speak Up
All
Game of
right.
the Month?
I actually got mine right behind me here.
Oh,
I decided to pull out CO2 Second Chance.
hmm.
CO2 Second Chance. And this, I want to look up when it came out before, and I forgot to. But
Okay.
CO2 Second Chance, we've only played the cooperative version of it, so I don't know how the competitive holds up. Okay, so it came out in 2018. I wanted to check that out because I never hear anything about this game ever, and I think that's kind of a little crazy to me. You have heard about this game? I feel like this game never gets mentioned.
Yeah, I've heard a good amount about this game. I think it was a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And then it probably started getting fulfilled. Like, though it says 2018, it might have gotten fulfilled 2019,
Right.
2020.
It,
So yeah.
yeah, and I do feel like a lot of times what happens with Kickstarters is a lot of hype around it when the project starts,
Yeah.
and then a lot of hype when it gets fulfilled, and then people stop talking about it completely.
Yeah.
I'm sure
With
that's
give
the
or take
case.
some games, though. Some games still, like, they hold strong, but other
Yeah,
games, yes, the hype
yeah.
fades.
I would say more often than not, the hype fades, and I think that this is one of the games where that's kind of sad. It's a really cool. Like I said, only the cooperative. We haven't played the competitive of it, so that's the main part that I'm recommending. It's a thinky brain burner kind of co-op where what you're trying to do is build power plants that produce power out of clean energy in time before essentially the end of a decade, because if you don't, then there's going to be, like coal power plants, dirty energy is going to be used for that, and that's going to hurt the carbon levels and all that kind of stuff. So you have to kind of be keeping track of a whole bunch of different things, trying to make sure that by the end of the decade we plan accordingly so that enough clean energy is being used at the end of each decade, and the game gets progressively harder as it keeps going, which I think the system works out perfectly. The game becomes almost more demanding as you have more
Hmm.
infrastructure and everything like that
And
out.
more punishing as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's much more punishing on how like those negatives at the end of a round are going to hurt you. Uh, it's a fun game. It's thinky. The theme is really fun. The components are really nice. I think
Hmm.
that's really that Kickstarter component side of
Yeah.
stuff. The component, and it's not bloated though. It's not a bloated game by any means. It's just like the components for the wind power plants versus the solar power and all that kind of stuff. It really just looks very cool. So yeah, it's a game that I highly recommend. Again, only the co-op. I haven't played the competitive. I don't know. I'm interested to try the competitive. I'm sure it's fun. But if you're interested only in the competitive, I would look further into that then.
It is one of the most colorful
Yeah.
and good-looking Euro games I've ever seen.
Yeah, I completely agree
Um,
with that.
This game, though, I had a really hard time understanding the rules to this one. It could be the way it was taught. It could be that the rules are just cumbersome. I don't
Right.
know. But I feel like if I was to play it again today, I would still be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know the rules that well. I don't feel confident in them. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game, it's a lot. I just pulled up the BGG. The weight they have it, and BGG weight is kind of but it's 4.04.
Well,
So other players definitely have viewed that this is a complex game. I do agree with that. There's a lot going on that you have to understand.
yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a game that I'm not sure if I'd really want to play it again, to be honest.
Really?
I might want to try it again, but I also feel like it just felt like a lot of work
Huh.
to play it. Uh,
Interesting.
but I love the theme of it. But
Oh, I
anyway,
love the theme. Yeah. I
yeah,
think it's fun. I think it is one worth checking out, especially if you're into that theme. Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, my Speak Up Game of the Month is a little bit cheeky because this game, when it first came out, got so much love. And that love continued going for years afterwards. Okay. And now you can find this game pretty much anywhere. People outside of the hobby will know this game. Okay. But I think that it does not get enough love amongst the gaming community. I think that it is turned into a game that is popular to kind of hate on a little bit. And I'm talking about Catan. Just in your face.
You
So
gotta
here's
be
my thing.
joking.
I feel like when people, especially gamers, when they're talking about a gateway game, the first one that they'll mention is Ticket to Ride, right? I think that Ticket to Ride continues to have a lot of love in the gamers community. But I think that
Wrongfully.
Catan, I think that yeah, I know, to Justin's dismay,
Yeah.
Ticket to Ride reigns supreme. But I think that Catan at this point amongst gamers
Yeah.
kind of get some flack for, like, I don't know, it's like, oh yeah, Catan, there's other better gateway games now, blah blah blah. I don't know. I feel like, first of all, I think Catan is a more interesting game than Ticket to Ride is.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Ticket to Ride hater. I like Ticket to Ride, but I actually find Catan to have a little more depth there.
A little more
Um,
game.
a little more game,
Yeah.
and just more interesting. Though I play Ticket to Ride more often. Um, But yeah, I don't know. I think as a gateway game, I have students who know of Catan, right? And they have not heard of Ticket to Ride, which is crazy to me. But they know
Mm.
Catan, they know how to play Catan, and I think that is something very special because my students are not into gaming, right? I work with college students who are not into board games. They don't really know much about the world, all that sort of stuff. Honestly, it's not all that accessible uh, to the students that I teach. But some of them actually know Catan. I think that says something about this game, and I think that in the gaming community, it gets flack that it does not deserve. Um, sure, there's the robber mechanism where, like, there's a meanness to it, there's a randomness to it.
So what?
But so what? I mean, Ticket to Ride has got sort of a luck factor to it, the randomness of cards,
Yeah.
all that stuff. There's a meanness in Ticket to Ride for sure with the
Yeah.
blocking and everything. The robber, yeah, I'm gonna steal some of your resources, and really, it's not all that punishing. Um, Now, sure, if you built places where, like, your numbers aren't coming out, you got to learn the math of probability, okay? Because I don't know where you built, but, like, sure, yes, you could have just an unlucky day, but you could still
Right.
trade. You could still gain the resources you need. You could still do things.
Uh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
I agree with that. I mean, I think if you're okay with the luck factor of drawing the tickets in it, you have no right to start trashing on the robber and the rolling of the dice and what resources you get in Catan. I
Yeah.
swear, it's like Ticket to Ride is like America's little sweetheart, and Catan's the dirty cousin of the family or something.
Yes,
It's
that's why.
ridiculous.
That's why I wanted to put it on this week. I know this game has gotten an immense amount of love,
That
but
that yeah.
nowadays I don't think it does amongst the gamers community.
There has been a bit of a trend to like hate on these staples. For
Yeah.
example, I've mentioned it here before. I think on the Speed Up Game of the Month, where I saw somebody asked does Dominion still hold up? Somebody asked this on Facebook. Does Dominion still hold up? And I kid you not, somebody responded, I wouldn't say so. I've played about 50 times now, and I'm kind of bored of it. That has nothing to do with if it holds up today. That's because you played the game 50 times and not bored of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I think there has been a bit of this trend. I agree with that. And I do think that, and not even to be a Ticket to Ride hater, but I do think it's ridiculous to not think Catan is a great gateway game. Like you said, it's a huge game. It's in TV shows. Like I've seen it all the time. For sure, you can find this game anywhere. This is a great game to get people into the hobby. Totally agree with that.
Thank you so much for watching and or listening. This has been Room 51. We'll catch you next time.